am speaking quietly because the walls have ears. And while I am mentioning that, I invite you to join me for Thich Nhat Hanh's bell mantra. It's not just for bells, for me, for us, me, myself, I, here in which to take. And so the bell mantra is such a beautiful reminder for all the times we need bells. Perhaps it's not a bell, perhaps it's a whistle, perhaps it's people passing by, perhaps it's fire engines, police cars, people screaming bloody murder. So we have a bell mantra to assist in these times ahead of time so we can know that, feel positive that we have set that space for when the situation may arise. So I'm looking for bells. So Thich Nhat Hanh's bell mantra, I shall try to leave a reminder. I shall try to remember to leave in the description. And while I'm thinking about that, you may want to check the first Čačo Busin, True Friend, to see more what this is about and see if this is for you. And you are welcome to come and go as you please to help make this more meaningful for you. And let's ring the bell and then I'll do some disclaimers. So here we go. We're going to ring the bell. Mind, body, speech, in perfect oneness, I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Om. Peace. Shanti. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so it was. And so it was. And so it was. Heartily, we are grateful. So that bell mantra is from Thich Nhat Hanh. You may find at the Plum Village online. And again, I apologize for speaking low. The walls have ears. We're in a compound and people are out and about and inside doing their thing, having fun. And I want to allow them to continue that. So I hope you can hear me at the same time. And well, so the circle, you found yourself here. We're a weekly circle open right now to help you play your cards through loss to live the life you want to live, through all of that loss, the crisis, the diaspora, the surviving, to the thriving and the blessed dreams coming true and the pilgrimages. So we meet every Tuesday. You can join us whenever you please, every Tuesday or whenever you want, really, right? It's not mandatory, it's not necessary, it's just here if you want a little extra assistance playing your cards through the loss to live the life you want to live. You're already doing it. Yay, bravo, brava. And we're just here on the healing path to assist others if they want a little assistance. I know I'm being a little repetitive, right? Oh my. So this is our second session on Zoom. I mean, YouTube. We were meeting on Zoom before. And it's a whole thing to show up. So thank you for tolerating the mishaps, minding the gaps, and pardon me. Pardon that. If it appears again, we're working on our throat chakras, learning to speak our truths as they unfold. And thank you for helping us hold this safe sound space. So yeah, you're playing your cards and we're talking about how to work through any issues, like what's working, what's not working. So one of the things you may appreciate is just allowing yourself a little extra space. Like, Each week, each week, each moon, each sun, each you fill in the blank, maybe it's each quarter, to check in with yourself, what's working and what's not, and what your standards are. Especially over the past 3 years, perhaps more of us have become more aware, like, wow, what do we really want and need and desire to live our life the way we want to live, the way we want to live? What are our standards? We thought they were this, and maybe they're this. So that looks like, perhaps for some of you, coming out of the fog of gypsy myths, of adoption fairy tales, of the matriarchy, of the patriarchy, of the grief struck by loss, fearful amygdala, cycling, fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn. And you're looking for a more peaceful, joyful way of life. You're shifting out of that, you're stepping out of the fog and of those violent cycles, transmuting those violent cycles, adopting success for one and all, starting with you, right? Put on your own air mask first, right? And so just allowing yourself, like, hey, you can check in once you fill in the blank, what works for you. And to understand what works for you, like, is it weekly, is it quarterly, is it yearly, is it moonly? You may explore more your astrology. And there's some brilliant astrologers out there. Soulful Revolution, MJ Cranmore, is sharing a series, perhaps if you don't know your birth chart, how to tap into your astrology. You may appreciate that. And I shall try to remember to leave the link. And also Molly McCord, you may appreciate. And if you have other astrologers who assist in tapping into this, you may leave them in the comments to for others on the healing path. So allowing yourself that time may relieve a lot of pressure, knowing, oh, I am my own most blessed therapist, doctor, lawyer, friend, mother, father, and each week, month, quarter, I can check in with myself about what's working, what's not, what my standards are, if they've shifted, and just date it and put it in the books and keep moving forward, knowing, I have this plan that I can keep coming back to. And so that also allows you, if stuff comes up in the moment, you know, oh, well, I'll add that to things to review in my quarterly session or moonly session or weekly session, whatever that is. So that is one thing that may assist you. Playing your cards. One of the things that may have us blocked certain times is not recognizing our power and how we can take that power back by something as simple as doing a T-chart for yourself. What's working, what's not. What are you going to do? What is the other person going to do? Or what is XYZ PDQ going to do? Quarterly, annually. And so that's thrilling. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments and then I can address those more specifically. As I said, this circle is open. It's weekly. It's fairly anonymous because that is rather imperative, relatively imperative, to remain anonymous, to be able to do your work. But if you are brave enough to step into the circle and offer your questions, awesome. And hopefully with God willing, I can answer in a way that is helpful and meaningful for you. So playing your cards through loss to live the life you want to live, to live your blessed dreams. So knowing that you can come back regularly to see what's working. So it's like you're playing your cards, but you can put them on the table and then you can go play around, do something else, right? To allow yourself that rest time. That notion of you playing your cards and being able to, you know, let the cards sit on the, see, they're sitting on the shelf. And these, I was just pointing to cards that other people have made, but I'm also referring to your own cards that you develop. You've already been playing. Um, so another thing to amp up your play, to assist your play, is to actually physically draw out your cards, to actually make a deck of cards. And over there in that corner, you can see mine have turned into a pile of notebooks. So let's pull one out and see what's happening here. So, my God, all my wands just shoved up right there. Let's put them back in a beautiful position. We have much happening here. God bless it. Some spirit guides wanted to join us. Get my wands into place. And the crystal ball. All right. So your deck of cards, you may find, develops at workshops. For example, you may attend a workshop and take notes. Like me, I attended a workshop and took notes. So this is some spirit candle work that I took a class at the First Spiritualist Church in Onset, Massachusetts. You can join their mediumship circle on Wednesday nights for free on Zoom, and I shall try to remember to leave a link for that. And these are so exciting as I'm showing you. I'm like, oh my God. This is super thrilling. So this is just from one of the workshops that I was interested in and some of my notes. And so your note cards may take all different forms, shapes, and sizes. And to give you a brief description, those are some of my spirit team there. That's awesome. And we played with a candle after meditation and prayer and a weekly circle we've been developing. And so we were honoring that space, and then each of us, well, it was on Zoom, so in our own safe space, right? We're working with fire, so you want to be safe and careful. Practiced. And so those were my practices as I study and practice my psychic mediumship. And so how I interpret them might be different than you, but those are for me. So, right? You may do your own to see what comes up for you. And just to add to that, you may check out my shorts to see more about this and all the different aspects of the work here, but I talked about the psychic mediumship, and part of my duty is to share definitions. And psychic mediumship, a psychic is one who picks up on objects, events, and people, and a medium is one who picks up on intelligences in the spiritual world and through whose instrumentality spirits in that world are able to convey phenomena of spiritualism and healings. And forgive me if I'm not saying that quite correctly, but just to allow you more of an understanding. And some may say that we all possess that gift of psychic, of medium, but only some of us choose to study and practice because free will is real, right? Boundaries are real. And some of us, some say that we are all psychics and mediums, like we are all teachers, or we are all folk artists, or we are all fortune tellers. Oh, disclaimers, I forgot. So I am not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist. I am a fortune teller. So what I share does not substitute for their services. Furthermore, what I share does not determine your future. Only your intentions and actions do. So please use your gifts of discernment before deciding what to gather and take away. And of course, take only what resonates and blow like a kiss the rest back to the universe for cosmic composting into beauty. And this is for fun and games, for shits and giggles, for flexing our heart, mind, body, soul, spirit, emotions, and intuition. And at the least, I hope to cause harm to none. And at the most, I hope I may assist you on your healing path. So that being said, disclaimers, right? Free will is real, right? So these note cards, this playing your cards, it's backed in educational theory. It's a scientific study and practice. Like many of you may have experienced learning languages or math facts or history facts through note cards. And so, if you expand that, well, you can make your dreams come true with note cards. And so here's just a few different types. These are from my teaching days, learning how to be a teacher. All of the teachers at our school and amphitheater school district, Tucson, Arizona, were required to regularly gather to grade students' writing, to assess students' writing on the 6 traits of writing. So the PE teachers were there, the art teachers were there, the math teachers were there. I mean, everybody. And we all had samples of our students' writing. We all went through trainings about how to, what the 6 traits of writing are and how to assess that. And so you might find that useful. You might be able to find online your own versions. So just other quick examples of different versions of cards, right? How we make our dreams come true, how we play through loss, because loss is what blocks learning, leading, right? The sarcastic, dark teacher in the classroom. Ask Pink Floyd. Loving and living. Loss is what blocks those things the most in our personal experience anyhow. You can tap in about where you are with that. So these are different versions of cards. These are some of my finished cards. Learning my home tongue, my mother tongue, my first language that I lost. So those are some different examples of how your cards flex out, all the different ways you can play your cards, and that you are already playing that. So just to affirm what you're already doing, so you can rest in that. Like, oh, what a relief! Like, you're working. The work is so challenging, and the work you're doing is I don't want to relate it to war. It's just so challenging, but so you can know you're on the right track, you're playing your cards, you can rest in that. So here's just a couple other versions of cards. I think these developed working out groups in the classroom. The next ones are fun. Oh wait, sorry. This one has 2 sides. I know, it's backwards. I mean, I think this sat up in the front of the classroom for a while. You know how the classrooms have like the chalkboard and the little rest there that you can rest the chalk in, or erasers or note cards. So these are, well, you tell me what these are. If you'd like. If you would like. So just, again, flexing out how you may play your cards, perhaps affirming what you're already doing, whatever profession you find yourself in. Wow. Teaching history was thrilling. World history, U.S. history, African American history, Asian American history, Latino American history. Trying to think of some other ones. So, you know, like history, whoa, what a big topic. I had to take the test 3 times to pass. I can't remember what I passed first. Was it world history? Was it U.S. history? Or was it political science and economics? I think in the middle of the first test, I got a splitting migraine. The test to become a history teacher. I figured that was the thing to do because I couldn't seem to pick up history in high school, and majored in sociology in college and minored in Spanish. So these are just all the history themes, and I'm taking time to go through them, world history themes, because, well, they're relevant, right? They're from all over the world. And so just to affirm what you're doing, especially with the way that technology has allowed us more access to each other and to information and to become content developers, I sense that you may relate to these quite quickly. And also just to allow you a little time to meditate and consider, well, how might this work with me? In the session 1, we talked about some basics. And so these cards were helping me make my dream of becoming a teacher come true. And put a pin in that. That's a whole another sidebar. Well, you know, this is the non-arrogant way to say thank you in Chinese. So I have quite a few of these. Let's see what this one is. Thank you. That might be a little arrogant though. Nally nally, nally nally, nally nally. Right? So these note cards help make our dreams come true. Help us play through the loss. You know, from one end of the spectrum to the other, right? I thank you 10,000%. One fan, Ganji. One fan, Ganji. I'm just playing around. Love languages. Oh, another respectful thank you. Mean. So I have some Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. I have some Greek. I have some Spanish. I have some Finnish. What's in your wallet? Oh my god, I have some French. Okay. So now we're going into a whole another section of the cards. And this one is taped in here. Let me pull it out. I mean, which mother are we talking about? Robin. My god, we love Robin Williams. So in your deck of cards, your preferred quotes, and I'm not using the word favorite for a reason, and maybe that comes up later in another session. The more languages you know, the more languages I know, the more I will be able to communicate my wants and needs. That came from another quote. The more languages I know, the more I will be able to communicate my wants and needs. Maybe that's part of the reason I love languages. I'm fairly certain that came from another quote and I added to it. So you see this deck of cards, you start adding to it, adding to it, adding to it, and then those times when you don't know what the fuck to do, you pull out your deck of cards and you play, and you just start flipping through and amusing yourself and hopefully lift yourself up. You know, those times when there's nobody else around, your mother's not there, your father's not there. Let's keep you out of jail. God bless it. And if you're there, oh my God, we love you so much, and we are so sorry, and we are so sorry. Please forgive us, and we are grateful. We love you. Right? That could be us. So you play through to those times when you realize, okay, I've learned this about myself. I don't want to hurt myself or anybody else anymore. And even if you trip and fall and you're like, oh fuck, I did it again. And you're like, okay, well, no worries. The fight, flight, freeze, fuck a cycle, fawn cycle, no worries. I fell into it again. It's all right. I can summon adoption spirit magic, immerse into adoption spirit magic again, and keep playing my cards. And this one has TV treatments. Like, there's these treatments. This one has treatments that are no longer relevant for me. I have cut out the CSI murder mystery news shows like that, because for me, at the bottom of every mystery appears to be an abused, neglected orphan. Just so the treatments, the different treatments that you can take in, that you find on the TV from, maybe it's like Breaking Bad, maybe it's I don't know, you fill in the blank. Treatments that just lift your spirits and assist you. Maybe it's learning more about herbs or mushrooms or trees or crystals or how to paint. Or maybe it's movies. Like, we have this movie that we keep going back to, Rockstar. Oh my God. Those movies that just lift you and pull you up. Maybe you have bits of memorabilia. I do. I thought that the US was going to react totally differently and summon their adoption spirit magic. And I was like, all right, we got it. We don't have to fight back. We understand this is just grief struck by loss, amygdala, and fearful, fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn, and we've been there, and we don't have to mirror the madness. I was certain. I was wrong. God bless it. You might pull other people's cards. This came from some calendar somewhere, I think. Freedom from fear, guilt, false responsibilities, and the need to be legitimized by others opens your mind to new choices, new opportunities, and amazing possibilities. And again, these cards you can pull out at those times you don't know what to do. You're like, it's beyond me. And you can play through, and some people say, like, you don't need a psychiatrist. You're your own most blessed psychiatrist. You just need your pretty corner to be able to reflect and cry and have your pretty cry towel and your candles and your crystals and whatever else it is that helps you play through in a safe, sound way. And not to knock therapists and doctors, they have their value. But so often for orphans and adoptees, there's a missing link. And so that, so often it like adoption, we've been told, is for the best, but it's surely not for the best. It's just different. And so many are still operating under that assumption. So where are you getting your advice from? Are you from people who are still in the adoption fog, the gypsy myth fog, the matriarchy fog, the grief struck by loss fog, or those who are dancing out of it and can apologize when they fall back into it, right? I mean, I've been there. No guilt or shame, right? So you just want to, like a lifeguard knows, to keep themselves an arms or legs length away from the drowning swimmer, so the drowning swimmer doesn't drag them down in the drown. You're learning as well as you dance away from the fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn cycles that perhaps you need to stay in arms or legs length away. We started social distancing in 2009, not even able to say that that's what the case was. But so many of us have been coming out of the fog, and you're here. Perhaps you're on that same path and you're learning more and more, like, oh, can't even go in there. it's just going to trigger this or that. I might mirror the madness. They're still in the adoption fog. I want to speak my truth without telling people what to do or being offensive. Different standards, correct? Like we're living by these adoption spirit standards. And to understand more about adoption spirit, you may, again, check the shorts. I think there's one in there that explains it more, that allows you to expand that in your own way. Oh my God. You may take love letters. One of the loves of my life. Yes, one of my friends. Sons. Oh my God, so sweet. That was the card. That was the card. So sweet. And then another cousin. Oh my God, so sweet. I mean, another niece. Oh, that was before Riva. Oh my God, Erin. She's grown now. I hope that was all right. So you can keep your love letters here. All the different ways that plays out, your inspirational quotes, and you may keep your stack of cards. Maybe some of your cards look like this. Right? So you're just playing with yourself. You're tapping into your intuition. You're playing through the loss, those times, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to punch this person in the face or myself, so I'm going to do this instead. And figure out a way to redirect yourself. And if this, one thing that's occurring to me is like to create your joy cards. I mentioned that in session 1, but it's so important. I should mention it again. To stack cards with all the things that give you joy, that you know give you joy, and that if you can't think of anything that gives you joy, start with the loss and pencil and trust. I'll trust with you that the positive flip side will come, and you can paint that all pretty on the flip side at some point. And we're just sending you hugs and loves, and you're not alone in this aspect, and I know it's not the same. However, we're here, we're doing it, right? You can come back next week and just hold on loosely. And, you know, one of my teachers, one of the people within her organization, the breathing coach, reminded, if you're breathing, you're doing okay. So just take sweet, gentle care of yourself. And we've covered a lot of ground today. Just some basics of playing your cards, different ways you may actually put them into play. And I mentioned in session 1, it's worth mentioning again, Henriette Ann Clouser, Write It Down, Make It Happen. If you're wondering, well, hey, I got my cards in my head, I don't need to write it down. That book may interest you. You know, maybe some of your cards look like grocery lists. Maybe some of your cards just look like doodles. So I hope that this was helpful in some way, shape, or form. Just one little bit or piece, if you're able to take it and it helps you play through. And we are so grateful for you here playing through with us. We are so honored and feel so blessed and are so happy to be doing this work with you on the healing path, playing our cards to stay alive and thrive. It's so radical. We don't have to fight anymore. It's thrilling. It's thrilling. And so we're here Tuesdays, and these sessions are in the books if you want to come back to them. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments, or you may check on the About page and follow some of those links, or email if you would desire to book a session through the calendar. That's available. We have online courses, Reclaim Your Game and Adoptive Parent College. I think they're for free right now. We are wrapping up our first year in business at which to take. So that is quite thrilling. So if it's your bag to test drive those sorts of things, online courses, and to offer feedback, then those are there for you. And that would be so appreciated, but again, not expected. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Let's pull one card. We're at 35 minutes. We've gone a few minutes over, but let's pull one card for you to wrap up and let you go, because that's fun. That's fun. Hi, Laxman. I am so sorry. I'm just now seeing you. Oh my God. What's shaking? We're picking deck number 6. 6 is a number of service. Differentiates between dark and light. And the choices we make between those two. Love you too. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Like, we're here. We're doing it. We're showing up. So we are picking a card from the Cosmic Dancer Oracle by Sedona Soulfire and Tess Whitehurst. And this is published by Blue Angel Publishing. And, ooh, this is just a card to help you move forward, minding your business in the highest love and light. And you are a whole, full, powerful, loving, spiritual being, and so am I. And we thank your source and my source for immediately shifting the situation into what it needs to be, offering necessary insights, healings, acts of grace, protection. And we thank the ancestors, the angels, the spirit team, the galaxy guides, the saints, the sages. The universe is here in the highest love and light as well. Heartily, we are grateful. And so it was, and so it was, and so it was. This is so beautiful. I love this notion of being pregnant with idea. Being pregnant with idea. Being pregnant with idea. There's a Romany proverb that to give birth to a child is a cause for suffering, because that child is just going to suffer. So becoming pregnant with idea is a choice that some of us end up making. And so this beautiful card, Give Birth, number 15, you may enjoy checking out the numerology to see more about that. But it's funny, they add up to a 6, which is the number that we rolled with the dice. And that 6 may assist protecting you against those times when people are so grief-struck by loss that they lash out. Some people call that evil, or psychic attacks and psychic invasions. But the 6 may help in those instances, playing with it in certain ways. Maybe you visualize it or make an art piece out of it or chant. And so let's see what Giving Birth has to say. I'm going to check it out of this book. What else it has to say. Yeah, we've been dismantling the old earth, rebuilding the new earth. So many of us dismantling the adoption fairy tales, the gypsy myths, the patriarchy, the matriarchy, the grief struck by loss, fearful amygdala, cycling, fight, flight, freeze, fuck on. And so we're giving birth to this new earth. It's happening. It's happening. And so all the things associated with this, how we take such gentle care with ourselves and our people when they're in this position, and just offering this extra sweet time and space and tapping into the universe. And so here's what else the card has to offer. Can you feel it? In this very moment, you are blooming with creative potential. You are called to bring great things into being. The divine feminine force of creation is flowing powerfully through you. Be open to this cosmic energy that constantly inundates the universe, awakening new life and bringing the formless into form. Deep within you, ideas and inspirations are incubating, preparing for the moment when they will burst forth into the tangible world. You are an immaculate vessel containing the fertile codes of creation, and your projects and endeavors are expressions of the great cosmic dance of creation itself. Bring this energy into your consciousness and awareness now. Know that you are an innate creator by divine design. Dance through this life as an awakened, fertile force, connected to your creativity as an endless wellspring of vitality, passion, and joy. See, pregnant with thought, pregnant with idea, pregnant with your projects, your beautiful, creative, artistic projects. Oh my, you may enjoy tapping into your sacral chakra for that, or the color orange and all the ways that plays out, that sacral chakra, the Svadhisthana chakra. Anchor your awareness to the density of the earth and your earth body as you usher your creations into physical manifestation. Care for your blossoming ideas and inspiration as the precious gifts and miracles they are. Give them time, space, attention, and nourishment they require. Take a moment to tune in to what will best support the blessed process of their becoming. Perhaps the creations wishing to be birthed through you would benefit from a creative space, such as a designated room or an area in your home, that sacred space we were talking about earlier. Maybe they are asking you to carve regular time into your schedule to adopt, ding, 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 adopt a new habit, or let go of an old one, or recharge your motivation with inspiring activities and outings. Your creative practice is not something to burden with expectations or conditions such as recognition, validation, or financial success. Rather, it is something to care for attentively and compassionately, just as you would a beloved child or pet. Are you a caring and conscientious parent to your inner artist and sacred artistic path? Now is the time to make the positive shifts that will allow you to answer with a resounding yes. Activate and embody this wisdom by standing in a wide squat with your toes and knees turned outward. Hold your hands a few inches in front of your belly with your right wrist crossed over the left, palms facing down to the earth, and fingertips facing out, away from the body. Rotate your hands and fingertips inward towards the body so that your left wrist becomes the top wrist for a moment. Then continue the wrist rotation until the right wrist is again on top with fingers facing outwards and palm facing up. Continue this fluid wrist rotation in front of the belly region as you stand in a deep, open squat. Allow your fingers to unfurl during the wrist rotation movement as you imagine that you are sending energy from your womb area, from your sacral area, whoever you are, however you identify. Repeat this process, deepening in and out of your squat as you feel guided to facilitate a feeling of creative flow, offering and release. The world longs to be gifted with the beauty and love of your soul's essence through your unique creations. Remember that the creative birthing process is a never-ending journey of aliveness and presence. Infuse every step of this journey with mindfulness and reverence. So fun. And I have a hunch you are already doing this in certain ways, shapes, and forms. So this perhaps is an affirmation. And also, again, thank you so much for the work that you are doing and ushering in this new consciousness and for helping shuffle states of emergency into adoption spirit magic. Heartily, we are grateful. Thank you for helping breathe life into adoption spirit magic. Heartily, we are grateful. Thank you for rebuilding this new earth so peacefully and joyfully. And that is all for this session of Čačo Busin, Tuesday Night Circle. Until next time, ciao for now. We love you all. Thank you so much for joining us.